Hello everyone and welcome to Terry Technique. In this video I will be showing you all the settings, all the functions on almost all of these latest BMW stereos that we have, Android stereos that has Android 10 or Android 9 as well, with the 64 gigabytes of memory and 4 gigabytes of RAM. I will be briefly showing you all the functions in it and every setting about factory settings, how to connect Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So without further ado, let's get into the video. First of all, I will be talking about some of the Android functions in it. As we have navigation here, you can choose basically different applications here, which one you want to use. For us, factory wise, we prefer iGo. It's because it's more useful, it's offline as well, more compatible as well. But if you want to use some other applications, then you can do that as well, and I will be showing you how. So most of the time we get the question, how can we choose Google Maps here in navigation? So all you have to do is go over to the settings here. First of all, you have to check in the application if you have Google Maps or not. Right now we have Maps here, but this is not Google Maps, this is built-in Maps. But if you want to download Google Maps, obviously you can go to the Play Store and download it. But I will show you right now the iGo navigation is set by default on the navigation, and I will show you how you can change the iGo to the Maps. It's very simple. You just go to the settings here, and on the setting you will see navigation app selection, and here you can choose all the apps. Right now this stereo has only two applications. One of them is iGo and other is Maps. Once you choose, suppose if I choose Maps, and there you go, then now it will open Google Maps. But right now this is not connected to the internet, so it won't browse anything. The second thing, most of the time a question we get is how to connect Wi-Fi. And when most of our customers share internet from their phone, personal hotspot, to the stereo, they ask that when they leave the car and then they come back, it doesn't connect automatically. So the thing is, there is difference between the Wi-Fi and the personal hotspot. Wi-Fi right now is basically, if you have a dongle that is only used to share internet, that is called a Wi-Fi. If you're sharing an internet from your phone to the stereo, then it's personal hotspot. It's via personal hotspot, not via Wi-Fi dongle or Wi-Fi connection. So what will happen is, when you connect personal hotspot Wi-Fi to the stereo, once you turn off your phone, or if you go far from the stereo, it will disconnect the Wi-Fi in the stereo, and when you come back it won't connect automatically. You will have to do it manually. It's because these iPhones or other Androids, they have a function of turning off the personal hotspot in the background. So but how you can connect a personal hotspot is simply, you can turn on the personal hotspot here, and then here you have the Wi-Fi. Here you will have all the Wi-Fi connections, all the devices. If you have a dongle, 4G device or anything, you basically click on it and connect it. It's very simple. The second thing is the Bluetooth. This is music. If I show you, if I go to the settings, here I talked about the navigation. Now this is the system settings, the camera selection. As you see, if you have a factory camera, back camera, then you need to choose the OEM camera, which is the factory camera. If your car has the original camera, if you bought an aftermarket camera, then you need to choose this one. On the system settings, these are some of the camera settings as well. Parking lines, parking distance control, disable video in motion. This disable video in motion, this function, if I enable it, then when you're driving, when your vehicle is running, then you won't be able to see any video here. It's because the disable video in motion function is enabled. What that does is, it doesn't allow you to watch movies or videos while driving. So make sure this is turned off. For us, factory wise, we turn off all these settings that are unnecessary, and also we set everything by default. But if something is not working, then make sure to watch this video all the way. So disable video in motion, this should be turned off. Then you have the brightness here as well. some unit of temperatures, some basic settings. Then here you have volume. This is for the media call. Then there is OEM volume, your original stereo volume. And when you go here to the car, it shows you your older stereo basically, and these are the volume for that stereo for the call and navigation. Then we have sound here, which is the equalizers, obviously for the sound. If you're using radio, if you're listening to the songs via Bluetooth, you can go to the sound, and these are the equalizers for you. Suppose these are some factory preset as well, so for example pop, classic, but you can also do it manually as well. Then here we have the language here. This language right here is for the system, all right, for the stereo. If you want to change the language for the, let's say, Android, I'll be showing you how you can do that as well. Here you can change your car time as well if you want the Android time, car time. Then you have the system information, obviously, 44 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of memory. And here you have the Android settings that I was talking about. If you want to change the language of this one, then you have to come here and change it. Here you have the Wi-Fi settings right there. This stereo it comes with the 4G SIM card as well, with the SIM card as well, slot as well. So that's why it's showing hotspot. So if you have a SIM card with internet, you can basically insert it in, and if you want to share internet through this stereo, you can do that as well. You have a personal hotspot here as well. You have VPN and other Android functions here. All the Android functions are here. Then here you have the connected devices, which is the Bluetooth, apps and notifications. This apps and notifications, if you go to see all, here you have all the Android applications. For example, for instance, your Google Chrome is not working. You can open the Google Chrome and you can check the permissions. If you have permission for all of these that are necessary in order to work. So you can check around if any of your application is not working. You can come here to the apps and notifications and check with your app. Then it has this battery, display, sound, storage, privacy, location. This one is basically, it shows you these two applications right now is using your location. So if you want to turn it off, you can do that as well, but you won't be you shouldn't do it for the navigation, because then you won't be able to navigate. Then you have here system. In system you have language and input. This is your keyboard. Right now it's virtual keyboard, but obviously if you want to change it to the G keyboard or Google, or if you want to download any more keyboards, you change it from here, all the keyboards. Then we have about device. Now the main thing that is important is the factory settings right here. For the older stereos our code was 1314, but for this one, this is the newest model. Whenever we sell a stereo or give it to the customer, the code is also written on the box as well. But for this one, these ones, the code is 07, 05, 07, 03 and 05. Once you enter the code, you come in the factory settings, and there are a lot of things to do in it, but I will show you the main things. For example, functions. In the functions, if your car has let's say aux, if you have front camera, dashboard camera, if you have for example USB host, if this is not enabled, then USB host is not gonna work. If Google Apps is not enabled, you won't be able to download or use the Google applications. If your car has a front camera right there, this should be enabled. So you can check around which of these functions you have in your car or in your stereo, or you bought and externally, you can enable them from here and in order to work. Then you have DVR here, which is the front camera. Right now if you have, you can choose which DVR you have, which front camera you have. Then you can choose from here. If you don't, you can obviously press on close, but if you have, you can choose from these two. The Bluetooth selections, you have two Bluetooths. One of them is Android Bluetooth for the stereo. The other one is OEM Bluetooth, which is the original stereo's Bluetooth. So if your car had a original stereo or head unit that you replaced it with this Android stereo, You can obviously use the older one on this particular stereo, but the thing is you need to choose the Android Bluetooth because you're using this one right now, not the older one. So make sure that Android Bluetooth is ticked in order to for the Bluetooth to work. Then you also have the amplifier selections. If you have the original amplifiers in your car, or you have the aftermarket, you can choose that as well. Also 360 camera, if you have, you can choose it. The automatic brightness as well, if I close it, or it's up to you. The unit selections, and then you have the HD camera selection as well. Then if you go to the vehicle, here you have the aux switching mode, which is automatic. These are the settings that are set by default, and these are the standard settings for almost all the cars. But some of the settings, for example, if your car have an iDrive original one, or you bought an external one and connected it with the stereo and it's not working, then you can come here in the factory settings, go to the vehicle, under this knob type, which is your iDrive. If the knob type is knob A and it's not working, then you can change it to knob B. Or if it was knob B and it wasn't working, you can change it to the knob A. So these are the two settings for the iDrive in your car. It doesn't matter if it's aftermarket or original one. Then these are some of the settings, information about your car. Driver's seat, if your car is right driver's seat or left, you can choose it from here. Number of doors, speedometer, and other gear selection and other functions there. Then we go to the car display here. This car display is the rendering of this screen here. So for example, whenever we send our stereos on the paper, we have all the information of the older stereos. The original screen is 6.5 inches. Select item 10 or 13, which is 10 point something. So if you occur any problem when you connect this stereo, if your text is too big or it's out of the screen, then you make sure you can check this setting here. And under the car display, you need to choose the right size for your screen. So if you're, for instance, if your older screen was 6.5 or something like that, then you can choose from here. You also have a lot of cars here as well, F48, but make sure to ignore that and only focus on the size here. So you can change the screen size from here. And then if you go to these are your CAN protocols. Some car has CCC, some are CAC, some are NBT. When you buy the stereo under our product, every information is given, so you would know which car you have, so you can choose that one. Also UI configuration, this is for your display. Right now is BMW Evo ID7, but if you want to choose ID6 or ID5, it will change the theme or the display of the stereo. Then here you have boot logo. If you want to change the logo of your starting, when you start the stereo, you come up through a logo. If you want to change it, you can change it from here, from the boot logo. And the page 2 as well. There are two logos. Also, you can import it from here, but you need to have a file of a logo type. You can make a custom as well. So these are the general and basic settings of this stereo here. If you have more questions, you can leave them in the comment section. I will be happy to answer them. And I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye.